All right, I think we're live.
Woo!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of season 1 of Star Trek Endurance. This episode is called Border Dispute. I'm going to go around the panel here and make sure everyone introduces themselves. Then we are going to play. I just realized I don't have my camera on here. Sorry about that. I'm an idiot.
I was thinking of saying something, but you were talking, so I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dapper, you are many things. Idiot is not one of them.
Hey, let me be self-deprecating. All right. By the way, Chesh, we do need to drop that threat down to 12 because we only have 6 players today. So, all right, let's start. Let's start with Jordan. Jordan, introduce yourself. Tell us who you're playing, and there we go.
Yeah, so I'm Jordan. I run the YouTube channel Reason to Doubt, which has been called a Shroud of Turin channel that occasionally does other things. This is a label I do not personally endorse, but it is one that I've been given. I play Commander Malka Va, the Trill Executive Officer.
All right, Chesh. That's a lot of problems to talk about. Yeah.
We solved all those problems.
Yeah, yeah. Trade barriers, all, like, you know, international human rights crises, all gone. All right, Necro.
I'm Necro/Czar, and I am playing Broken Chip, which is a exo comp, and that's about it.
Excellent. All right, well, I am Dapper Dinosaur. I run this channel, Top Hats Off. I also do mostly young Earth creationism debunking over on my channel, although occasionally I do some other stuff. I've had some flat Earth debates, a couple of those, some just outright dinosaur denial, some like new age alternate history Jews are from space nonsense. I guess Jews are from space in the same sense that everyone else is from space, because Earth is in space, and that's where Jews and everyone else is from.
Everything's in space.
So yeah, I guess technically Jews are from space, but just like in the way that everyone else is. So yeah, that's me. I am the GM. I am running this. I will play everyone who isn't a player character. Zirlon.
Hey, that's me. I'm Zerlon. You can find me at 4 Cozy Cat Games here on the YouTubes. We don't have a lot of videos yet, but we play, all the fantastic board games behind me. I am Dr. Hobnall on this. I'm going to, since we were scanning everything last time and everyone wants me to continue scan, I'm going to scan all of you until the atoms in your bodies just disintegrate, and then we'll put you back together and do it again.
So you're going to transport everyone?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's going to be a medical transporter now.
Hello?
Craig.
Hold on one sec.
Oh.
Yes?
We'll go to Zero, or
I'm busy.
Tiri.
Yes, I'm live. Yeah. Sorry.
Or we'll still stick with Craig. Craig, who's you?
Hello, I am Craig, FTFV. I run a YouTube channel where I argue with flat earthers because, I like to destroy my brain cells. I play Lieutenant 7 of 12, Tactical Node 3, Species 5008, an ex-Borg Klingon who is now the Security Officer, Tactical Officer of the U.S.S. Kongzi. And yeah, that it's a lot of fun. I'm going to kill everybody with torpedoes.
Well, maybe. We'll see. All right, and last but certainly not least, Tiri.
Hey, I'm Tirana. I am playing Petty Officer First Class Billy, who's a Delphinapterus Loikas and the navigator and flight controller of the Kongzi.
That's Beluga Whale, for those of you who don't know the Latin name for everything.
Yes, and I have a piece of carrot cake, and you don't.
Ooh.
Oh, man, I want that.
You don't know that.
Yep.
Yeah, I could have carrot cake.
Well, if you have one, get it.
All right, so today we are playing Border Dispute, and there are 3 mission directives I'm going to give us before we get to the first officer's log, which is going to, propel us into the action. Our directives are: ensure the Romulans have no excuse to declare war on the Federation. Save as many of the Nightingale crew as possible, and do not allow Federation technology to fall to the Romulans. Those are our 3 directives. Remember, you may use them like one of your values with points of determination. All right. Now, Jordan, I believe you have the XO's log ready to go.
First officer's log, Stardate 59951.6. We are en route to the Romulan Neutral Zone via our quantum slipstream burst drive after Narendra Station received a subspace transmission from Admiral Ross at Starfleet Headquarters. It appears that one of our ships, the U.S.S. Nightingale, has suffered a navigational error and entered the Romulan Neutral Zone. By the terms of the treaty made after years of conflict with the Romulans, this may be considered an act of war. The Romulans have already fired on the Nightingale, crippling her on the wrong side of the border, and claimed the crew are now prisoners of war. As the nearest ship who can reach the Nightingale, we have been ordered to assist and defuse the situation in whatever way we can. But it's going to be difficult, as Admiral Ross was clear that we are not to enter the neutral zone ourselves unless it is a dire emergency. We will have to hope the Romulans are feeling charitable enough to let us beam over to the Nightingale.
All right, our first scene is going to be in the conference room aft of the bridge, where y'all are discussing what your plans are for when you drop out of warp just outside the Romulan Neutral Zone, nearest the Nightingale.
Welcome
Captain,
to the ready room.
Captain, I recommend that we jump in prepared for combat.
We must remember that Romulans are without honor.
Any other thoughts?
Honor or not, there's definitely going to be wounded over there. We're going to need medical teams on standby. Probably should beam some over and have sick bay ready for triage.
Captain, I would recommend having all weapons on standby.
Perhaps we could just talk?
Oh, is that what you sound like today?
Yes.
Okay, that was unexpected.
I do like your new voice pack installed, Broken Chip. Captain, yes, Broken Chip is correct. Talking is optimal. However, we should have the weapons prepared.
Billy, do you have any thoughts?
I've never met a Romulan personally, so I don't know.
All right, so Admiral Moss did send over some data files that have some personnel files as well as the last known transmission of the Nightingale.
What does the transmission say?
So, you play the transmission, and let's see. It shows a disheveled Commander Lewis, the XO of the Nightingale, on a badly damaged bridge surrounded by chaos. She's a human, and she says in the transmission, "This is Commander Allison Lewis of the Federation starship Nightingale. A navigational error has caused us to enter the neutral zone, and we have exchanged fire with a Romulan warbird. Captain Blake was killed in the attack, and we have lost main power. Warp drive is offline, and ship systems are down, but life support is good and holding. Repairs are underway, but we have lost most of our engineering crew. The Romulans are claiming that we are now prisoners of war, and they insist they will take us to Romulus for trial once their ship is repaired. We don't want to give in to their demands, but we also don't want to start another war. Starfleet, please advise."
So, what class of ship is the Nightingale?
It is a Nebula-class ship, which is a fairly compact ship that is designed primarily for survey missions, but for its size, it is reasonably well armed, but certainly not enough to take on a Romulan warbird on its own.
Got it.
Have we thought about the fact that maybe the Romulan warbird had to attack the Nightingale because it's a predatory bird and attacks other birds?
They could have simply warned them that they were on the wrong side of the border. Captain, is it possible we can get close enough to the Nightingale to extend our shields around those whilst we speak with the Romulans?
So I'm going to let you know. I'll let you know right now that you do not have an exact location for the Nightingale, so it's not clear. Intentionally crossing the neutral zone, though, would definitely violate one of your mission directives, which is ensure the Romulans have no excuse to declare war on the Federation.
Okay, how far over the neutral zone are they?
We don't know.
They are far enough that it would take you more than a few turns in combat to even reach them.
Okay.
Under advisement of both of my XO and our security team leader, I suspect that we're going to have to talk our way through this. However, being prepared for something that already seems to be a aggravated and aggressive scenario, we need to at least find out what's going on. Being prepared for combat is well advised. So I am going to order us to be prepared, bring our weapons, however, stay standing down unless fired upon.
So would that be red alert, but
It'd be like
no.
yellow alert. It'd be like, listen,
Yellow.
be prepped, but we're not at higher alert. If we approach them too aggressively, it's going to just escalate the problem.
That is exactly what yellow alert is for.
Captain,
Yellow
are you
alert,
sure?
eyes.
It does mean changing the bulb. Sorry, I feel like that joke has to be made at least once an episode.
I was just about to say maybe we can go to blue alert.
All right, so it seems like you guys have probably figured out roughly what your plan is at this point. So unless anyone else has any other questions about the ship, about Romulans, or whatever, we're going to shift to scene 2. All right. So you arrive at the edge of the neutral zone, and you were immediately hailed by the Nightingale.
On screen.
Commander Lewis is on screen. She looks like she's seen better days. Her hair is a mess. Her uniform is dirty. The lights are flickering. She says, "Oh, is this the Kong Z?"
This is the Con Z, Captain speaking.
So, thank you for answering us. We're very badly damaged here, and we are without warp power. We don't have weapons or shields. The computer is down. Life support and gravity are some of the only things that are fully operational right now. We're on backup power.
Can you explain the situation as you got into it?
So, our assignment is to scout various sectors along the Romulan Neutral Zone. And what we do is every once in a while, constantly, really, it's every, fraction of a second, our navigation computer scans the area, and if it shows us having drifted towards the neutral zone, it'll update our next waypoint to be farther away from the neutral zone so we don't ever go in. But this time, we got an alert that we had crossed into the neutral zone, which shouldn't be able to happen, but almost immediately, a Romulan warbird decloaked and disabled us, although we did get some good hits in. I think they took a while to get their shields up after decloaking.
There just so happened to be a Romulan warbird where you crossed the neutral zone immediately?
It wasn't entirely immediate, but it was within a couple minutes.
Captain, if I may, could you possibly transmit your navigation logs for me to have a look at?
I would if our computer were up.
Once that is available.
Currently, only command functions are operational. All files are right now encrypted.
Captain, if I may inquire, has any navigation error like this been seen before aboard your ship?
Never.
And what is the likelihood that this could have happened without some kind of manual input?
I don't know. We haven't had a chance to go down and check on the nav computer. Life support, stability, warp core function, that's been more of a priority. But we also lost nearly all of our engineering crew because the Romulans targeted our engineering section, and we could certainly use some engineering assistance.
Ensign on mute. I don't hang up, but I mute the call for a second. One moment, Captain. I'm gonna spin around to the crew a little bit and say, well, this looks like there's a little bit more going on here. The Romulans targeted that on purpose.
Captain, I am more concerned by the navigation error. That does not seem something that would be possible, and leads me to make the assumption that there has been some kind of sabotage aboard the ship.
There's been tampering with a specific targeting almost immediately. Yeah, I think you're correct. I think we are on the same page. We're gonna have to talk to the Romulans, but at least we have a better understanding of what we're dealing with. This is intentional.
Hey, broken ship? You're getting another hail. This one seems to be from the Romulans.
Captain, the Romulans want to talk.
On screen.
On screen is a harsh-looking Romulan woman sitting in a very nice-looking captain's chair. Looks like it might be custom-made. who says, "Ah, the Federation has arrived. I am Commander Meven. Are you here to check on the status of our prisoners?"
I'm here to negotiate. What do you want?
We need to bring these treaty breakers in for our justice, and we will be doing so once our repairs are done. However, I understand that they are in some danger, so we're also willing to wait until they at least have stable warp power, so that they can come along with us. We're not going to drag them through warp with a tractor beam.
Seems reasonable. Will you allow us to get onto the ship to do some necessary repairs?
I don't know. That would be another breach of the neutral zone by Federation personnel.
We could
It
certainly
does seem-
pull them to our side.
Romulan dog, you are aware that allowing for
Shut up,
assistance in
12.
flight- Yes, Captain.
What was that, and why was it talking to me?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Go on.
Well, I suppose maybe we could let you on with a small contingent of engineers. Certainly I would object to a security team going over or anything like that.
I would
They
not
are-
let them go without a
That
security team.
is not your decision to make.
Well, it is
Stand
true. Oh, I'm sorry, you were talking to that thing on the bridge.
Captain, as security officer, I must ensure the safety of any crew going on an away mission. I must
Lieutenant
ensure...
Tad.
And the
Lieutenant Tab,
Sir.
you will be silent or you will leave the bridge. Am I understood?
Yes, sir.
So, I might be willing to allow an engineering team over. What assurances do I have that you won't simply try to escape with what is now the property of the Romulan Star Empire after a flagrant violation of our treaty, negotiated in good faith, I might add, with the Federation?
I don't think either of our peoples want war again if we can avoid it.
I certainly
So-
don't either, but we are not the aggressors here.
We can work together.
Oh.
If you have one or two engineers, perhaps a security contingent, we will have one or two engineers and one or two officers for security purposes. We can make sure that this is investigated properly, because keep in mind that they are treaty breakers for our justice system as well.
Are you offering to allow me to send a contingent of my own personnel onto the Nightingale?
Yes, as long as they are working with us.
I will send over a team of observers.
Very well. Terms are accepted.
All right. So that hail just cuts right off. Technically, you do still have an open channel with
Yep.
the Nightingale.
I switched the channel over to the Nightingale.
Captain? Says the XO, acting captain.
EXO, we're going to send a contingent over. They're going to be accompanied by Romulan observers to ensure everything goes and is investigated as well as possible.
Well, that doesn't make me terribly comfortable if there's going to be Romulans on board, but I suppose that was the price that we had to pay for your assistance.
It is the best we can do for the time being. Please ensure that nothing happens to anyone and keep an eye on them.
All right.
I hang up the call.
All right. So let's see. So you now have permission, and while normally it is indeed a difficulty to control an engineering check to beam, since you have as much time as you reasonably need, I'm not going to actually make you bother with it. And since you're not going to be on the ship either, I mean, take the one power off, but like, who cares?
Do we get another ready room scene before going? Because I want to talk to my crew.
Oh, certainly you can have another meeting. It can either be in the ready room or like on the way to the transporter. I don't really care.
I'll probably do the the ready room just because I want everybody there.
Okay.
I get everybody sitting down, and I'll be like, thoughts?
Captain, if you allow me to speak freely. He is lying to you. He is a Romulan dog. He is not to be trusted.
Sheep.
They, whatever they are not to be trusted. Do not allow them to be near our team that are over there.
I would have to disagree with Lieutenant Tack. I think our team should not separate from the Romulans under any circumstances. The last thing we need is a set of Romulans wandering a Federation starship unsupervised.
Of course,
engineering is not really my field of expertise or under my jurisdiction here, but I would remind everybody that keeping Federation technology out of Romulan hands is quite important. We'll want to make sure that we're observing the observers and that they're not getting anything they're not supposed to have.
Of course, what I meant was do not let them near our team unobserved by my security forces that will be observing them.
XCOM?
Well, I think that some of us are racist. Perhaps we should approach this a little bit more delicately. Trust builds trust.
Trust a Romulan?
If you don't trust them first, why would they trust you first?
They are Romulan. They are not to be trusted. They are without honor.
Billy, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I think we need all the information we can get, and especially considering the fact that the Romulan kinda said that they will only take the Nightingale once she's warp capable. Maybe the team can prioritize getting the computers back up and get the data that we need about the navigation system before the ship is actually warp capable. So, also, I'm not an interstellar law expert, but how does this neutral zone actually work? Why is it a violation if the Nightingale goes in a little bit, but not a violation if the Romulans go in all the way, all the time, and no one cares? Or is that just me?
It's a no-touching zone.
So
no one's supposed
generally,
to be
the Romulans are allowed in response to incursions by the Federation, which means they are relying on the fact that the Federation observably went in before they showed up. Although
But the
not
fact
by
that
a lot.
they appeared straight after is something that I will be investigating.
What I'm trying to get to, though my character is probably not smart enough to say that
I
out
know what
loud,
you're trying to get to.
if they showed up in a couple of minutes and we can prove that they couldn't have started outside of the neutral zone, that would be a point to make.
Well, the
And
neutral
we
zone is
should be
also
able
not terribly big. You can get from going like the short way across, you can get there pretty quickly.
Okay.
We want the navigation information, at the very least, and we want to know what happened to disable their regular check, their regular correction that should have been going off. Clearly that is not only not normal, but nigh impossible without some kind of tampering or interference. We also do not want the Nightingale itself being taken by Romulans whatsoever.
Yes.
We're going to have to be working on, or at least I will be working on, the negotiations and the deliberations about how we're going to manage that, with ideally not handing our people over either. But you're going to have to buy me time, you're going to have to get me the information I need to do so, and you're going to need to not start a fight beforehand.
I will restrain myself, Captain. But
Be quiet as church mice.
if the
only we
Romulans step slightly out of line, I will break their spine with my bare hands.
As long as
If
you
only we
understand
had
where the line is.
The line
Only
is
we-
the people over there are my priority. Their security is paramount. If that is threatened, they will suffer.
Doctor, keep an eye on
That
him.
sounds a little aggressive.
I'm Klingon, what do you expect?
You're a Federation
Oh.
officer.
Borg Emporium
Yes,
also
sir.
gave us information on how to say "I am Klingon," by the way, and he got it right. It was Klingon Jich. So thank you very much, Borg
Klingon,
Emporium.
Klingon.
Jich. Jich.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
only we had a doctor we could send who also was mysteriously trained in spycraft.
Oh, damn. How unlucky. Well,
So, Captain, for the away mission, I think we have already agreed to send engineers. We can easily justify a medical team in order to treat our people. I think that myself and perhaps one security officer would be sufficient for security.
yes, I would agree.
We're going to need to activate an engineering side character to have with us 100%.
Well, I can.
right?
Well,
I can
Billy's
fix
not going
things.
personally, so I can take a side character.
Yeah.
I can fix things also, but
All right.
Yeah.
Well, how about we have a engineering side character now?
oh yeah,
so
that's fine.
that'll be who Thierry is going to play for a lot of this. So let's see. Let's add a character. All right. This is going to be who do we have here that is a member and is in chat? We got Rachbot, Borg Emporia, Jillian Wren. You know what? Our last character was Ian Wren named after Jillian Wren, but that character also didn't really do much and then died quickly. So I say we have this one also be named. We'll call this one Jillian. What's a good last name for Jillian here?
Depends
McDaniel.
what suit
McDaniel.
Gillian
Okay.
McDaniel.
McDaniel. All right. And is Jillian McDaniel a human? I assume.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
The only Irish Vulcan ever.
I mean, you can do whatever. All right. Let's see. We'll say that this person is a lieutenant and an engineer. All right, and then we will grab the rules for supporting characters. All right, so let's see. First, we're gonna do the array of the attributes. So, attributes. We've got a 10. Where's the 10 going?
On something good for engineering.
Reason?
Usually,
Well,
Only
control, daring, and reason all come up a lot.
control.
yeah, all three of those.
Yeah.
Reason,
So
I
which
agree,
one?
reason.
Reason?
Yeah, Jordan was
All
right,
right.
reason.
I'm not hearing any complaints there. All right, we now have 2 9s. Where are those going?
Control,
Daring
daring,
and
probably.
Yeah, control and
control.
daring is best for
Yeah.
engineering, I think, yeah.
Generally, it's not always the case. All right, we have 2 8s.
Of
Where are
course.
those going?
Insight and presence, I reckon.
Anyone object?
I concur.
All
yeah,
right.
makes sense.
Those are the attributes. We now have disciplines. We've got a 4. Where's that going? Engineering, I assume.
Engineering,
100%.
yes.
All right. Now we've got a 3. Where's that going?
Science. I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got 2 2s. Where are those going?
Command and con.
Security and medicine, or con.
Well, I'm hearing 2 cons, so I'll put a 2 in con. And there's 1 more to assign.
Either command or security. I'd say command.
Does anyone else have a different opinion? All right, it's going in command. All right, we need 3 focuses.
Fixing ships that are in Romulan space.
What's the one that was used
Maybe
in
too
literally
specific.
every role? Was it
The,
electro plasma
EPS
dynamic
conduits
system?
or
Yeah,
something.
EPS
Yeah.
conduits. Yeah, EPS systems is always a good one.
Can
Yeah,
In
I
Starfleet,
suggest
even the
data recovery?
command consoles are powered by EPS
Wait,
conduits
Sorry,
directly.
Chesh, what was that?
A second, can I suggest data recovery?
Perfect.
That sounds
That
good,
does seem
yeah.
like a good idea.
It's a great idea.
All right,
I'm
and
the
one
captain
more.
for a reason.
I think the
pickleball.
next pickleball.
Pickleball. All right, pickleball.
I was gonna say Romulan languages or something.
I
You always
mean,
have to have one fun one.
Yeah, pickleball. I like pickleball.
all right. Let me give her the human trait. All right, and then let me make sure that she is available for all players. And there we go. We have our first supporting character, Lieutenant Jillian McDaniel, the engineer. And by the way, we have decided that if we invoke a supporting character a 3rd time, and the supporting character survives their 3rd activation, Chesh has graciously agreed to allow us to, or to herself draw some art for that character, so that character can
Nice.
have their own special talent and portrait, and we can put it up on screen and whatnot.
Sweet.
But only after the 3rd
So
time.
it can die
So
on the
that's
4th time.
And
Well, yeah.
the one caveat to that is also that if the person that it's named after can give me details about how they want that character to look. With the if you just want their face to be dick butt, please let their face just be dick butt. That'd be great.
Dick butt.
Not sure how I
I don't think that'll work for a
also,
human.
Prixie Burning Purple has joined the channel at the ensign level. Thank you very much. As a reminder, this channel is monetized primarily to recover the costs of doing these things like buying costumes, buying like 8 books, buying all that stuff. So that is
What he's saying is
why.
hookers and blow cost money, guys. So please open your wallets.
It's true. I mean, were you going to spend that money on hookers and blow? No, probably not.
Yes.
Well, they're
No.
only
I
giving
mean,
me,
no.
they all give me like $1 or $2, and then collectively that's enough for me to spend on hookers and blow, even though individually none of them gave enough to spend on hookers and blow.
It's 34 watching, so if they all gave you like $2, that's like, you know, $68. What strip clubs are you going to?
Don't worry about it. Plus, it's not a strip club, it's hookers. And I don't know if you know, but Arizona. Plus Arizona.
Not every one of us can afford Michelin star strip clubs in Amsterdam.
I know, but like, what hookers and blow are you going to get for under $70?
I mean,
look, he goes
the
to
cheap ones,
he goes
of
to the
course.
dinosaur ones, which means he goes to the avian exhibit at the zoo. It's really cheap.
All right.
So,
Kinky chickens showing
yeah,
their cloaca.
the zoo
Buying
blow
bulk
really
bird
sucks.
seed.
The rabbit for $2 says, if I become a member, can I get Ensign Witsit?
Oh fuck no, we can't have Witsit on the ship. It just blow up straight away.
I am
No,
not
he
going to say
might
no
be
to
a
that.
Dick Buttian.
if
I am
an
not
enemy-
going to say no.
Ensign Witsit, the Packlet Ensign.
Yeah. Like,
It doesn't have to be
You
Also,
have to remember
so-
that Witsit is the person who told me that I'm not invited to the thing that I was currently at whilst he told me that.
That was hilarious. Oh my god. All right, so are we ready
Was it
to...
an invitation-only event?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was
Then you were
invited.
probably invited.
I was paid to fly across the world to it.
All right, are we ready to transport?
Yes.
Who all is
no, but
going?
let's do it anyway.
Looks like
well,
Everyone is going but me.
All right, so do you want to have a supporting character to play us?
No, I want to focus on the production so it doesn't get messed up.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, so that means
I trust my crew, and my crew needs to trust me. And I'm gonna pull 12 aside and be like, I'm not going to
Also-
just let the Romulans walk all over us. Have a little bit of faith. And I'm gonna tap them on the side of the arm and set them off.
When I, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say the rabbit has joined the channel at the ensign level. Thank you, Ensign Rabbit.
Ensign Witsit inbound.
Ensign-
So before we
yeah.
leave, I will brief my away team and say, all right, rules of engagement, you are not to do anything violent whatsoever to a Romulan unless they act violently first or under my express orders. Is that understood? And I'm going to
Sure.
look at Lieutenant Tack.
Sir, yes, sir. Right, Jordan, I kind of like this, the way that we're working together. I'm very fresh and angry, and you need to keep me in check. But I like the way that you're doing it. Shout at me when it's needed. You know, like very much like Worf was in the first season. I like it.
Yeah. All right, do remember to reduce crew support by 3 because you've activated a medical team, an engineering team, as well as 1 engineering supporting character. So
Remember,
We
everybody,
are now at
FTFE is definitely not a masochist.
3.
okay. Let's see. So you guys beam over. I don't remember. I do have a transporter sound.
Ooh, it's the new TOS or TNG sound.
Yeah.
TNG.
I updated. Man, come on. You don't think I'm going to update the sound effects? Of course I am. It's like you guys haven't even met me.
Are we at some point gonna like jump forward to Discovery season 3 time?
I don't plan to do that, but you know, I don't know. All right, so you beam over to the Nightingale, and the acting captain is Commander Lewis is there to greet you, and she says, "Welcome aboard. Thank you so much." And so, by the way, your other teams are coming in staggered waves because they've only got so much transporter capacity. and it's a long distance transport, so you have to go pad to pad. There's no like direct beaming option. She says, so do you have any questions?
My first question is, how many wounded do you have, and what are their conditions?
So the number of wounded has been fluctuating, as some of them have been being treated, but it's probably about a dozen or so.
All right, Dr. Hobnall?
It might be closer to 20. I'm not. It's been varying as look, some of the repairs, people have been getting hurt and going to sick bay. Some people have been coming out. But we originally had about 80 people, and about 20 were killed, and a further 20 or so were injured to some degree.
Captain,
Understood.
Lieutenant 7 of 12, how well do you know your navigation officer?
Well, let me double check the book here so I can figure out who the heck that is. Because there's a lot of NPCs in this game. So
while Dapper is doing that, I will get my my medical team organized and heading the right direction.
Oh yes, Ensign Costellan. She's a fairly new officer, but I've not seen any reason not to trust her.
We'll want to speak with the ensign and our engineering team while they're repairing things. Have the Romulans arrived?
The Romulans are scheduled for transport next.
Is it while we're talking in this room? Is there anyone else like around us?
There's a transporter chief.
All right. I'm going to ask the captain if there's somewhere we can speak privately.
Yes. Come to the, I guess my ready room.
Yeah, I'll bring the.
Commander, whilst you speak with the captain, I would like to be present whilst the Romulans are beamed on board.
Well, don't allow the Romulans to come on board until we're done with this conversation. It won't take long.
Sir.
So I'll bring my away team with me to speak to the captain.
All right.
Okay.
So, by the way, to give you guys a sense of the ship that you're on, the Nightingale is a Nova-class vessel. It's scale 3, so it's, smaller than the original Enterprise or the Lexington that you were on before. It's bigger than a runabout, though. So, like I said, it had a normal crew complement of 80, so it's not a big ship at all.
Defiant type size?
It's bigger than the Defiant. Actually, no, it actually might be about the same size as Defiant now that I think about it.
Nova
Defiant,
class
I think, is class 3.
Because you...
It's Nova.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's much smaller. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's about the same size as Defiant. It obviously has a very different layout because it has a more traditional, like, saucer section, engineering hull, twin nacelle, away, but... Yeah, roughly around the same scale as the Defiant. All right, so what did you want to talk about with the acting captain?
Captain, we're concerned about sabotage with your navigation system, given the malfunction, but also how quickly the Romulans responded. So our plan is to have our engineering teams prioritize things that won't get you ready to travel to buy us time to investigate this.
Understood. I assume you want to question Ensign Costellan?
We will.
I would like to personally question the ensign.
She was on the bridge with me when we detected the error. I don't know if she could have sabotaged... I don't think she could have sabotaged it from the bridge. Normally, the helmsman console doesn't have access to the programming for the navigation array, but I suppose it's possible.
I think it's unlikely, but we need to chase down all our options.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to know?
Just to ask, did you have any unexpected guests on your ship?
Is Broken Ship here, or is this a private conversation? I'm not sure.
Broken Ship is in the room.
Yeah. Okay, then yeah.
Not to be.
Then yeah. Sorry. Say that. Ask again. I was just not sure about that.
Oh, okay. Did you have any unexpected guests on your ship recently?
No, we've just been doing surveys for a few months now. Just the crew.
All right, that's sufficient for me.
All right.
But the captain did activate the Romulan protocol before she died.
The Romulan protocol?
Yes, it's a protocol that we have that ensures that any Romulans can't claim too much Federation data should they capture the ship. Basically, the captain can lock out and encrypt all the data on the computer system, and the computer is largely shut down, although it will still function for like command stuff, so we can still control the ship. but that's why our computer bank is just currently basically offline.
Will it
I'm
be possible?
assuming you have the decryption key.
No, the captain had that, but it should be manually decryptable eventually.
Eventually.
It would require some effort from some people with computer expertise that I certainly don't have.
Job, we have an exocomp.
That is good.
Yeah, I specialize in computers. That is
All right.
something that you guys would
I've
know.
never actually met one. Hello.
Hello.
It's unfortunately that we're meeting under these circumstances.
Please
Yeah,
excuse my exocomp friend. He has installed his Russian voice pack for today.
Oh, I didn't know that was an option, but okay.
It sort of floats over in front of her.
All right. Lieutenant McDaniel, prioritize decryption of the computer system. Chip, you'll assist McDaniel. Tack, you're with me.
Sir.
All right. So let's see. Where is everyone specifically going? So Tack.
I assume
Broken Chip is
the
going to the
commander
computers.
Commander and I would be going to the pad now, as the Romulans would be beaming on board, and we would want
All
to be present for that.
All right. So a group of 4 Romulan soldiers beam over. They are armed with disruptor pistols, and they look taciturn, I suppose.
I growl.
Are they square?
No, they're not square.
Damn.
Although they do have big Hillary Clinton style shoulder pads.
I
they're
audibly
square.
growl, and my Borg implant in my eye glows red. I can't
Nice.
control that. It just happens when I'm angry.
They move their hands to over their disruptor pistols, but they don't grab them.
I move my hand over my phaser. Type 2.
Welcome to the Nightingale.
Thank you, Commander.
I am Commander Va of the Kongzi. I'm here to support the repairs, and I will be your escort while you're on the ship.
I'm sure that we don't need an escort, but your kindness is greatly appreciated, Captain. I'm sorry, Commander. I'm still not up on all of the Starfleet rank insignia. I'm sure you understand.
It's okay.
I am
was a captain
Lieutenant
once upon a
7
time.
I am Lieutenant 7 of 12. I am the security officer. I will be keeping an eye on you.
I'm sure you will, Klingon. The one eye you have.
Trust me, the other one works better than you can imagine.
Yes, I'm sure you purposefully got yourself assimilated. It definitely wasn't your lack of combat ability in fighting off the Borg.
Is there anything in particular you are required to observe?
We would like to see the repairs in action and make sure that there's no attempts to, say, turn the ship around and warp out of here.
Understood. So we'll be spending our time mostly in engineering then. I'd ask that you not touch anything and do not pull out any tricorders or recording devices, that sort of thing.
What
Look
about
with
flash
your eyes.
photography?
No, only your eyeballs.
What about the floor? Can we touch the floor, Commander?
You may touch the floor and the air.
Thank you. That's so magnanimous of Starfleet.
You are allowed to breathe because we have decided you can on this ship.
You do realize our warbird is hovering a few hundred meters away.
Yes,
Right,
but
Klingon?
I am only 4 foot from you.
That's true. However,
And I
If
can
we-
move extremely quickly.
Lieutenant
I
Tack,
understand.
that would
What's
be
a
enough.
foot?
That's true. Romulans probably don't use feet. Well, to be fair, Romulans probably don't use meters either. So
I don't know, what would Galactic Standard come out as with the translators?
I mean, that's a good point. I guess Galactic Standard would get translated into like whatever the Romulan units are.
Yeah.
Qubits or something.
You have Romulan standard qubits.
Forearms.
Well, they measure in the distance from the edge of one shoulder pad to the other. That's a standard unit.
Romulan cubit is from shoulder pad to shoulder pad. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how big the Romulan is. The shoulder pads are always the same width.
In keeping with the Warbird theme, they call it a wingspan.
Oh, okay. There we go.
That makes sense.
That checks out.
Yeah, they just have a shirt that no one is wearing to measure things.
We'll
we have a few
Actually,
options.
based on the 23rd Emperor or something.
Okay, so we have a few options for where we should go for our next scene. So I know that we have one group who are going to engineering. We have another group who's going to the computer core, and yet another Dr. Hobnob who's going to the sick bay. What would we like to go through first?
I think Dr. Hobnob sounds fun.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see what the sick and dying people are like.
All right.
Get your scanner ready.
Oh,
You
I'm
arrive-
scanning everything.
You arrive in sickbay to find a gaggle of people who are running around getting hypo sprays and treating various wounds that range from like very serious, like, you know, sucking chest wounds all the way down to fractured ankles. And there is not a whole lot of organization, but there is one lieutenant commander of Vulcan who's the chief. Well, he's the doctor, and he's running around trying to make sure that he can coordinate everything. But it seems like the people he's coordinating are not very well trained.
I will go up to this Vulcan. Lieutenant Commander, are you in charge of medical here?
I am.
I'm Dr. Hobnob from... looks like we have a bit of chaos going on. Where would you like my crew? Where can we assist?
I would appreciate if you would start triaging. We currently do not have access to the computer system, so we're unable to access medical records. So I would suggest that you not administer any medications that have a high likelihood of an allergic reaction.
Very good. I will immediately start motioning to the crew that we brought to set up and get some triage going. While they're doing that, I want to take just kind of a real quick overview of the injuries and see if I notice anything abnormal on the types of injuries I'm seeing. If there's something that, if you get hit by cannon fire, you don't expect like, oh, weird, these guys have like syphilis. You looking for something that's out of ordinary.
Syphilitics
I mean,
get
they
hit by
might.
cannons. Cannons don't discriminate against syphilitics. It's fine.
Most people who were in an age where it was possible to get killed by cannon fire also were in an age where it was very possible to have syphilis.
Yeah,
I guess that's technically true.
All right, so Lieutenant Commander Gatrell calls for everyone's attention and says, "This is the medical team from the U.S.S. Kongzi. All deputized medics who are from the science department will default to the judgment of the medical team from the U.S.S. Kongzi as they have actual Starfleet medical training. You only have first aid training. If there are any more questions, please direct them at me. There should not be any more questions." They start scattering around. And so one of the things that you notice, Dr. Hobnob, as you're going around helping with this, is that pretty much everyone here has either been unconscious since they were injured in the attack, or a few of them have been injured during repairs. Either they fell down a ladder, or a bulkhead shifted, or one of those panels that Starfleet orders that are have explosives pre-installed blew up.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, because for some reason Starfleet's just like, hey, what if we just hit a little bit of dynamite in every single console? Just a little bit, though.
Look, come on. Cordite
Yeah,
is cool. Cordite looks amazing, and it gets a really good texture on the panel. I mean, sure, it's highly explosive, but it looks so cool. So much better than carbon fiber.
One thing that is not
route
here.
an EPS conduit to every console.
Yes. One thing that is not here are any of the bodies of the deceased.
All right, so they don't have the deceased here, just the injured. That would make sense for sick bay. I'm going to ask the lieutenant where they have put the bodies from any deceased, any casualties.
The bodies of the deceased have been stored in the cargo bay after adjusting the temperature in there to be just slightly above freezing.
All right. I'm going to want to have a look at them at some point, but before then, priority to the living. Let's get the everybody patched up. I'm going to look over their people that they had here and make sure that they've kind of evenly broken up to the trained personnel I have. If I see any groups like, oh, hey, there's 5 people following one of my guy, kind of divvy them up so that each of my actual trained personnel has like a few people around them that are helping and not, all on one spot.
All right, give me a presence and medicine check, difficulty 1. Hey, you just got yourself a point of momentum, and you have now successfully managed to make sure that everyone is properly delegated. And at this point, all of the severe life-threatening injuries are being reasonably well treated. No one seems to be having any allergic reactions. Everyone who's there for relatively quick-to-fix things like lacerations are getting patched up. It seems like it's actually turning into a reasonably well-oiled machine now that you have arrived with additional trained medical personnel instead of just relying on a whole bunch of hey, you took a first aid class and you're good at science. Here's a medical tricorder and a dermal regenerator. Go.
Hey, I used to be a volunteer firefighter, and that's very much how it worked.
Oh, I know. Yeah. So, now there's actually doctors and nurses for real. So does that mean that you would like to take a look at the makeshift morgue down in the cargo bay?
I absolutely would. And hey, guys, chat, my wifey did bring me a drink before she left. You can tell by the color, this is Kraken rum and 7-Up. So you can tell by the color, this is
it's a lot of Kraken.
This is a lot of
Nice. Craig, what do you drink? Is that...
Well, this is Klingon blood wine.
Oh,
of course.
Klingon Eohip.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a 74. It's a good year.
Wait, is that 2374 or 2274?
Well, the 2274 was destroyed, so we only had the 2374 left. But that's still plenty of just it's sweet, salty. I think they used extra bloodworms in it this year. It was very nice, chunky sometimes. Yeah.
Actually, I have the the blood wine cup that they use in Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
it's actually a measuring cup. And I bought that exact measuring cup. It's in my kitchen.
Nice.
So...
Kraken rum, by the way, makes an amazing dark and stormy. If you haven't had a dark and stormy using...
Yes,
oh my god. Oh,
all right.
So good.
I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed.
You see that there are
I'm not allowed to do that
about...
anymore. Kraken's an American brand.
Oh. Damn.
Nobody should buy it.
Yeah, please don't buy American if you can avoid it. I mean...
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, sorry, we don't need to buy America because Steve McRae's doing it all.
Okay, there are about a score of bodies covered in sheets on cargo containers in the cargo bay. They all have toe tags.
I would like to check on these bodies and just see, kind of quickly looking through them, what I find from them. Get some scans, get some visual. See if I notice any patterns or anything weird or anything that stands out.
So, in order to do a cursory examination, I'm going to ask that you give me a difficulty 2 control and medicine check. You do have a point of momentum.
I'll spend it for an extra die.
All right.
And get some more back.
Yeah, you got 2 back, so now momentum should be at 2. All right, so most of the bodies are pretty much what you would expect, but the body of Captain Blake seems a little bit odd, and you feel like maybe that might be a good thing to do an extra, an actual full autopsy on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's check this out.
All right, so this is going to be a difficulty 2 reason and medicine check.
We'll spend one of those momentum for our 3rd die again.
Okay. All right, so let's see. That is... All right, so I am going to say that as of now, there is a problem with the cargo bay, and the temperature is starting to go up as the system fails. It's keeping it down, which means that you will need to go over and try to fix that real quick, or the bodies are going to start decaying. Unfortunately, that means you need a daring and control and engineering difficulty 1 check. All right.
Not
Well, that's 2 more points of momentum that you got, and you managed to fix that. So, a good job, I guess. All right. So, so it had.
The doctors are always the best characters.
Yeah. So, the notes on Captain Blake from Lieutenant Commander Guttrell, say that it is presumed that Captain Blake was badly injured when a bulkhead fell on her. Although your actual investigation does show that she has wounds consistent with that. However, when you actually fully investigate, it shows that the cause of death was asphyxiation, and she has finger marks on her neck that are consistent with strangulation.
Dun dun dun.
Oh well, that's odd. I'm going to tap my communicator. And I'm going to call the captain, and I'm going to relay that information back to our ship, so that somebody outside of here knows. And then I'm going to go ahead and find our XO. So I'm going to start heading that direction.
All right, we're going to call that a new scene, and so we're going to reduce our momentum by 1.
I'm going to take that in my ready room, and I'm also going to mention be careful, because we don't know who is doing what traitoring, if traitoring is happening, so it could be the XO for all we know.
Are the XO and I going to interrogate the ensign?
Well, we should probably do the engineering stuff first.
Yeah. The XO, maybe the XO wanted a Klingon style promotion to CO. Could happen. You never know. All right, so engineering. All right, so there are numerous engineering teams working around, including with you guys. And so there are a number of things that you can fix at engineering. Each of them is going to be an extended task that will have you interacting with one of the crew. There's the warp core safety systems, the exterior hull plating, warp core repair, general ship systems, and computer repair is also an option, although that'll be something that we'll probably do in a separate scene with broken chip. So, what would you like to work on first? I'll repeat them. Warp core safety, exterior hull plating, warp core repair, and just general ship systems, which is something that you can work on. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, I think warp core safety sounds useful, so it doesn't blow up, but we don't actually want to make it warp capable until later. But I think safety should be first.
All right. So, as you head over towards the warp core safety systems, there is a Vulcan lieutenant who turns to welcome you and says, "Greetings, I am Lieutenant Naval. Are you here to assist with repairs?"
Lieutenant McDaniel, yeah, I'm from the Kongzi here to help.
Please assist. All right, so here's what this is going to be. Because you have an engineering crew over here, I'm going to say that you get 1 extra point of penetration on your work rolls.
Okay.
So this is going to be an extended task. It is magnitude 2, work 8, and difficulty 2. It is insight and engineering. So, who is going to be primary on the insight and engineering roll?
That would be 12 for Lieutenant McDaniel.
Chip got?
What was it again?
Insight and engineering.
Insight and engineering. I got 14.
Sounds like Chip then.
Yeah.
All right, Chip, why don't you roll it, and then I will allow McDaniel to assist. Jillian McDaniel.
And we have 1 point of momentum, right?
2.
2? Oh, okay. I'll still use 1. Either way.
Oh, I'm sorry, this one doesn't actually technically have resistance, so I'll just let you get an extra point of work done on a successful check.
Yeah.
I sucked a big one.
Wow. Yeah, but hey, maybe Lieutenant McDaniel actually does in fact come in with 1 more than is necessary. So you can either bank this momentum, or you can use it to increase the amount of work that you do.
I'm not sure on the strategy on that one. I'll keep it.
Okay.
I think.
Roll some challenge dice. Just roll with one of your weapons that has 4 or more damage, because for some reason the challenge dice button is kind of broke.
I'll roll this. I'll just roll 2.
Okay.
Wow.
Hoofed.
Let's see. So that is. I don't know why Jillian is rolling.
I
but-
just wanted to see if it works or not. Sorry.
Okay. So that is 1 work. So it is down to 7. Let's see. That means that it is now going to be taking a little while for these warp core safety systems to keep going. Let's see. Does anyone else who's there want to work on anything else while that's going on?
The other people there, I mean, I think myself and Tack are there because we're escorting the Romulans.
Oh yes, yeah.
But I am once again not a science or engineering person, so.
But are you a daring person? Because you could be
I am
the
very
person who
daring.
goes out. Well, we've got daring and engineering as replacing exterior hull plating, which will require you to actually physically don a spacesuit and walk out onto the hull of the ship outside.
I've got 13 for that.
Yeah,
I
same.
think Tack should do that. Tack.
Okay.
Tack and McDaniel, perhaps.
All right.
Yeah.
So you go outside and you meet Lieutenant Savrek, a female Andorian, who says, "Oh, I suppose you're here to help me with the exterior hull plates?"
Yes, your assistance with this would be appreciated.
All right. Well, how are you at 0G maneuvers?
I was a member of the Borg Collective. We would swarm ships from the outside. I would say I'm an expert.
But not with infantry, though, right? Like with spheres?
Whatever was needed. Show me where the plates are
Okay.
required, and I will fix what is needed.
Sure. You should probably get that spacesuit on over there.
Okay.
Assuming you need oxygen.
Do you have one large enough to fit my frame?
Probably. Check the large
I-
section.
Okay.
There's a big L.
Yeah, you gotta take that L.
I awkwardly fit into a spacesuit that's just one size too small because it was the largest one they had. And I'm slightly hunched over. And my
Okay.
forehead ridges are like pushing right up against the edge.
She turns and says, "Looks good on you. Let's go."
Thank you.
All right.
You'll
Give me-
grow into it.
Give me a difficulty 3 daring and engineering check. We have 3 momentum as of now.
Well, I'm going to use 2 of them.
Take
then.
some.
Well, it's 3 to get 2 extra
Can't
dice.
use 2. Either 1 or 3 here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I want 2 extra dice, so I get 4 dice.
So 3. So that's full 3 momentum for
Yeah.
2 extra dice.
Because I feel
Sorry,
this
I'll
is
be
an
right
important
back.
thing.
It is
I
important,
just do
yeah.
handheld equipment for shield operations, tactical awareness, Vulcan logic. No, none of those count. So, yeah, here we go.
All right. So I will roll a quick assist die. That does just get you there. So roll your well, that says daring security.
What did I do? Oh, crap.
It's
What
supposed to be
was-
engineering.
supposed-
I'll let you
my
re-roll,
bad.
and it'll be engineering. We'll just see.
My
what happens.
apologies.
Hey, that's a success.
Yay!
So roll a challenge die.
Okay. Let's see if it'll let me.
Nah, it never does. Just use a weapon. It'll just be the first one that comes up. All right. So that is not great, but it is 1 success because of your engineering teams that are helping you, as well as Lieutenant Savrek, who's helping you. We're going to head back to Warp Core Safety Systems. Give me another insight engineering check.
Me.
All right.
No.
Right. Good.
I assumed I was doing it.
Yeah. With
I'm not
help
gonna use-
from McDaniel.
I didn't use
I'll
momentum
roll
on
for
this one.
McDaniel. Insight
All right.
engineering it was.
All right, well, that's 1 momentum that's been gained. Roll 4 challenge dice.
All right, I'll just do the same thing I did last time. Boop, boop.
Oh, wow. So that's 2, 3, 4. That is a breakthrough. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to have you roll it 1 more time. You should have 1 point of momentum.
Okay.
Do you want to use it?
Sure.
Okay.
I
That is
got-
a success and a point of momentum back. So it doesn't matter actually what you roll on your challenge dice. You have successfully restored warp core safety systems. Lieutenant Naval turns and says, "Thank you, Exocomp. I'm sorry, I did not get a name for you.
Broken Chip.
Thank you, Broken Chip."
It just sort of floats away to the next task.
All right,
Bobbing slightly side to side.
Yep.
back to exterior hull plating. Let's get a daring and engineering check. All right. So I'm going to.
I don't like these complications that are coming up.
No. So, not only do you fail on that one, how
Oofed.
you are also. What happens is a bit of plating is loose and sailing towards your suit, and it manages to not actually deal any stress, which was good because if it had dealt any stress, then you would in fact start suffocating pretty soon.
Yeah, that's not good.
All right. So, we've got over at Warp Core Repair. We could do Control and Engineering. Who's good at that?
Mine is 12 total.
Don't we want to delay the warp core repairs though?
That's a good question. In that case, it might be useful for more people to go outside and help with the hull plating because
Yeah, I'm screwing it. Yeah.
Mac's not great at it. He's okay, but not great.
I'm not good at that either. Just let you know.
He's distracted. He's too busy thinking about the
you,
wrong.
don't you have
well-
like a tractor beam, like literally as part of your being?
What was it? What was the thing? It was control and engineering.
I thought it was
This
daring.
is
Or
daring and engineering. Yeah, daring. Sorry.
McDaniel's got a 13 in that, so she's not too bad.
Oh, that.
I have
maybe-
I have a total of 11.
I mean, you could still roll an assist die.
Sure.
All right. Well, why don't you guys go do that? So, we'll say
Do
McDaniel's will be.
exocomps- Sorry, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask if exocomps can go into vacuum, like
They can.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't need air. They don't need water, and their propulsion systems can work in 0G just fine. So, they
Yeah, so
are.
I
They're,
can-
they're better
Almost
OP, to be fair.
They can be. They're not very big. They're not very strong. They also can't wield many weapons. They can basically only have a Type 1 phaser because it's about all that can fit in their replicator volume. So, like, there are some severe limitations, but they also come with some pretty cool strengths. Anyway,
That's why I
So
don't
let's-
daring.
yeah. All right, McDaniel, give us a daring and engineering check. I will assist with Lieutenant Saverick.
we have one momentum. Is that right?
Yes.
All right, I'll use one. Thierry McDaniel finished with what she was doing inside, so she's strapped on. Oh, he doesn't have his headphones on yet. I got 4 successes.
All right. So that's
Nice.
one from Saverick, and who else is assisting? Is anyone assisting?
Chip was hanging out there too.
I can. I thought I heard
Yeah,
somebody
roll an
else was
assist.
rolling, but I'll roll. I
All right.
didn't.
Tack, do you want to roll 2? 1 die? Daring and engineering?
Thierry McDaniel finished the repairs inside, so we sent her outside to do the whole repairs.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So that is 4 successes. So that means the momentum goes up by 1, and roll 4 challenge dice for McDaniel.
Ooh, nice.
2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that is a breakthrough, and you have reduced the work track to 3. So let's get another daring and engineering check, and if all goes well, you could actually complete this with this.
Okay. Daring and engineering, do we have momentum?
You should have 1 momentum.
Should I use that? Yeah, probably. I'll use
Up
it.
to you. Okay.
I'll use it. It's 2 successes.
All right. Let's get those assist dice in. Lieutenant Saverick does not succeed on this one. So it's Broken Chip and Tack who can roll an assist.
Oh, sorry.
All right, that gets
I
us to a
got one.
success. And if TAC rolls a success, that gets us a point of momentum back. No.
No.
All right. So rolls 4 challenge dice then.
3.
All right, that is just enough to get the work down to 0 and another breakthrough. So you now have 1 breakthrough left. So if you can make this check at all,
rolling, man.
yeah, a little bit. If you can roll a success on this, then we're good. And of course, if you roll complications, we might be very bad.
Okay.
Right, me.
So just roll daring and engineering again, or?
Mm-hmm. And if you want, you have a point of momentum. All right. Well,
Oh, I thought we
let's
didn't.
let's get an assist check. Nope. Let's get an assist check from the other 2.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Not going to be enough. All
We
right.
suck.
I am going to spend 2 threat to establish the condition radiation leak. So from here on out, every time that you take another check, you're going to take 1 stress damage that's not going to be recoverable during this episode because it's radiation sickness damage.
Oof.
So you have 1 momentum, and you have another check, and we should be down to 10 threat, and the radiation leak is ongoing.
All right.
So, Jillian McDaniel, what is your plan?
Have we any way of fixing that radiation leak? Or
I mean, yeah, you could spend momentum to do it, but you only have the 1 momentum in the first place.
Could we plug it with a Romulan?
No, you don't have a handy Romulan. They're all inside.
Oh, god damn it.
damn.
I'm out of ideas. Sorry.
Yeah, you went outside when you said you would watch them. Huh.
In fact, above you is a Romulan warbird, menacingly just kind of hanging there in space.
Can
I
we
don't
take
think we
some
can
of their
plug
hull
the.
plating?
Yeah.
They
So-
would probably notice that.
You can give up. You can make another check. The check is going to cost you a point of stress. Although if you continue to be non-committal, I'll just give you the point of stress anyway.
Yeah, if we can keep rolling and just take a point of stress, I'll do that at least once.
Okay. So this is still difficulty 3?
We do have a point of momentum. I thought we did.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
So I'll roll 3. I'll roll 3 dice and hope that helps.
All right. It does. And there's an assist from Savrik and from Chip and what do we got from TAC?
Now we
Okay,
get all the
all right.
successes, but of course we also get 120. Yeah.
So I'm going to just say I'm going to take 1 more threat, and then momentum is going up to 3.
So do we all take the stress or just?
So everyone who's outside. So that includes
Who's in the
Savrik.
scene, yeah.
It includes broken chip because yep, your electronics are susceptible to radiation damage.
That's fair.
And McDaniel and TAC also take a point of radiation damage. But in getting this hull plating all set, that has itself stopped the external radiation leak, so you are no longer in danger, and you can go back inside if you want to.
Okay. Yes, let's do that. Get out of here and maybe get checked up by the doctor.
All right.
Yeah.
So, I'll assume that you're heading that way, and you do now want to go to the computer core, huh?
Yes.
That
Sounds
would
good.
be the next target, yeah.
All right. So, who is actually going to the computer core?
I assume I'm going because I can do
yeah.
computer stuff.
Okay.
Jillian would go since she has a specialty.
Where
in
are the
technical.
Romulans right now? Just
The Romulans have been in the engineering section with Commander Va.
right. Okay, so they've got someone watching them.
Looking
Yep.
important.
They do look very important. I mean, they've even got little like Romulan bird of prey symbols like embroidered into their cloth. That's very, very fancy.
Ooh. Super fancy.
One of them's got a mustard stain though, and they haven't noticed. It's just
But
under
it's-
his right lapel.
But it's
That's
blue because it's
Romulan
Romulan
mustard is pink.
mustard, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Really spicy.
while I'm standing there, I'll be like, "You've changed your uniform since the last time I met a Romulan."
We, much like Starfleet, we do undergo periodic uniform updates.
And
Although
they approved.
you seem to do uniform updates every few years. Must be dizzying and hard to keep up with.
So are you telling me that your command approved those uniforms, or is that just something you threw on?
They are in fact approved by command. It's a wonder you managed to get that strange spider-looking thing on your forehead approved. Is it decorative? I'll take that as a yes.
I move away and stand behind the XO because restraint is needed at this point.
I just noticed there's now weird things going on with my bridge. These are energy beings. Don't worry about it. It's definitely not the sunlight peeking through
They
the
are here to
blinds.
impregnate Commander Riker.
Oh no. Well, at least it's not Deanna Troi. She's been one non-consensual alien impregnation per season, please.
What,
per character.
Is that those things from Voyager when they started to get the creatures from the other dimension to make the warp core go? Are they now attacking you?
Yes, that's exactly what's happening.
Oh,
The ship has
they
been...
were annoying.
Yeah, they were. At least it's not the macro viruses.
Yeah, the
just
macroviruses were weird.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite episodes of Voyager because it's so stupid.
I'm liking Voyager, watching through it. It's good. I like Deep Space Nine, but honestly, it just didn't have the Star Trek feel for me. But
it was the best Star Trek.
I like Deep Space Nine. I really did. It just did not have the Star Trek feel for me.
All right. So let's see who is going to the computer. We got Broken Chip. Is Commander Va going?
No, I'm staying with the Romulans.
All right. What about TAC?
No, I'm staying with the Romulans, but I've asked TAC to send. I've asked Broken Chip to send me the info if they find it as soon as possible.
All right. What about McDaniel?
Yes, she'll be going.
Okay. So you two are heading over there. When you get there, there is a Vulcan science officer who is standing there, seemingly very, very annoyed for a Vulcan, which means basically slightly more stiff and upright and looking like it has the Romulan or the Vulcan. Sorry, has a.
So the right eyebrow is constantly up, is what you're saying.
Always.
Yeah.
He's clearly a Romulan.
He turns and says,
to be a problem.
Yes, I'm Lieutenant Telek, and I do need my data from the computers in case there's no chance to further send my data along to Starfleet. I would like to be able to do it as soon as possible.
We are here to help.
That is much appreciated.
Great.
Do you have an ETA for the computer repairs?
I have to know what's wrong first.
That is logical.
Alright, so I will... since I already kinda know that it's just locked out, basically, I'm gonna examine to see if there's anything else wrong with it.
Alright, so give me a Insight and Engineering difficulty 0 check.
Insight Engineering... I'll just roll it.
Alright, that's 2 momentum. So, no, the computer is largely undamaged. Other than the encryption of the data and the lockout, it looks like it's basically physically just fine.
Okay. Looks like it's locked out. I will have to do some decryption.
Well, do you need any assistance with that?
Probably. It would help. So, yes, thank you.
So, one thing I want to say is anyone going down to the navigation array system? Because there was talk about some possible sabotage. Because we can do that concurrently.
I don't really want to leave the Romulans on their own, but that is something I want to investigate.
I mean, I'm with the Romulans.
Okay.
Engineering, the way I'm envisioning this, most of the things are happening in and centered around engineering.
Yeah.
So I can both look at the Romulans and stay in command of the situation from engineering.
Okay, Commander, I would like to investigate the navigation. Could you please keep a close eye on these Romulan dogs?
Lieutenant Tack, absolutely. But can I have a moment? And
Sir.
I'll direct my security team to keep an eye. And I'll say, Lieutenant Tack, what is our
Sir.
mission here?
To help the crew of this stricken ship and not start a war with the Romulans.
That second part is more important than the first.
Sir, I will attempt to show restraint around these disgusting creatures, but you must understand, they're Romulans.
Lieutenant Tack, you are a Starfleet officer. I don't know how you remember things worked on a Klingon bird of prey, but they will not work that way here. You will behave as a Starfleet officer, and if I have to send you to remedial training, that's what we'll do.
Understood, sir.
On Vulcan.
Yeah. They're still fixing the damage from Shelby.
FDFE
You can
goes
speak-
back to Vulcan every time. Dude's got no chill.
Yeah. You can speak freely to me in private. In public, I expect you to act with decorum.
I will do as you wish, sir.
Very well, Lieutenant.
As
Okay,
you're
so-
heading off to the navigation, one of the Romulans says, Klingon, Hume Shopot, which is Klingon for, hey Klingon, don't eat any bugs.
I stop, look back, clench my fists, and then just carry on walking.
No
Nice.
bugs.
And as
but
soon as I
lobster
get
tasty.
As soon as I get round the corner out of sight of the commander, I punch a monitor so hard it shatters into 1,000 pieces.
Take a point of stress.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yes, some Romulans learn Klingon. That's a thing they can do.
Yeah. Cunts.
Mm.
Who would've
All
thought?
right. So, let me just get to the navigation array section. Sorry, this adventure is a little complex in terms of everyone can be all over the place, so it's a little hard for me to get all my notes organized. All right. Give
Dapper,
me a...
never apologize for greatness.
Well, thank you. Yeah, this is actually one of the more complex scenarios that we've run in this game, where like everyone's all over the place. There's a bunch of extended tasks and all sorts of stuff. So, Tech, give me a reason and con check with difficulty 1.
Reason and con. Hey. Okay.
You got a 1.
All right, that is a success. Thank you very much. So, it does not appear that there's anything like physically wrong with the console. There's nothing that is broken. It's not sparking, but you do notice that someone is absorbed in checking various things, and it's a male trill over there.
Okay. My character can scan the environment like a tricorder, so can I just kind of surreptitiously just scan to see if anything strange is going on?
I mean, yeah, we'll take your reason and con as the successful for that. And so, not that you can see with that check.
Okay.
Nothing is
Well-
broken, and nothing is hidden. A full diagnostic would require a further check. If you want to do that, it's an insight and engineering check with a difficulty of 1.
Okay, sorry, what was the person doing, you said?
He's at some console deep in concentration, clicking on
And-
all those LCAR's buttons, making
and who
beep
is he?
sounds. It's a trill, you haven't asked.
Is he, what rank?
He is lieutenant.
Okay, well, I walk up to him, I place my hand on his shoulder and say,
He
Lieutenant,
jumps a little bit, turns around. And he looks a little
explain your
scared.
current actions.
I'm trying to figure out what happened with the navigation array. Clearly, there was
Please.
some kind of error.
Please tell me anything you have found out.
Well, so far, it seems like all the navigation array is functionally intact. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the navigation logs because they're encrypted.
Oh, they've not been decrypted yet.
No.
Yeah,
they have
I
not.
didn't roll
Right,
for that
okay.
yet.
Okay, I'm just going to ask, during the navigation anomaly, Did you notice anything strange happening?
Yes, there was a delay in the frequency of the sensor sweeps from the navigation array to get our navigation fix.
And could you please tell me what would cause that?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not sure. It could have been a problem with the computer's clock. It could have been a problem with the sensor array. It could have been some kind of software problem. But without the logs, it's hard to figure out, and I'm trying to check every single thing, and it's taking forever.
Is it possible this could have been a manual override of some kind?
I mean, so the system can't really be manually controlled, at least not that I know of. But I guess if someone was really good at reprogramming it, they might be able to do that and just send like an interrupt signal to the clock that triggers the sensor fix or the sensor sweep to get the navigation fix. It's not impossible, I don't think.
At the time of the navigation anomaly, who was in charge of navigation? Who was on shift?
Well, me.
Was the new ensign on shift?
Which new ensign?
The new navigation officer.
Oh, well, yeah, but she was on the bridge.
Were you aware of her actions at the time?
I mean, no, I don't normally know exactly what's happening on the bridge.
Okay, I would like you, if possible, to continue your investigation, and once the logs are decrypted, please inform me of any anomalies that you uncover.
Absolutely. Did you want to take any further look there yourself, Tack? This is as the
Yes.
GM.
Yeah, that's what I was going to do, is just to see if I can do any extra checks while I'm here, whilst he's now tasked with that specifically.
Give me an insight and engineering check, difficulty 1. You do have 5 momentum, so I would suggest using some of it.
An insight and engineering, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'll use enough to get 4 die then.
Alright, so that's 3.
Just seeing. Right, I've got a focus in computer interfaces. I'm going to use that.
Absolutely.
Let's go. Oh,
Yikes.
yeah.
No.
If you
But
only
you do
have
know-
one skill in the thing, I don't think the focus actually has any impact.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Well,
But also, you
Yeah.
rolled really poorly. You got an 18 and a 19.
yeah.
So, like, yeah. That was never going to really be a big success. All right. If anyone else at some point wants to go and help them, that will be something that can allow you to do another roll, whoever is going to go down there. But Tack doesn't find anything out of the ordinary.
Once I'm finished with engineering, I'll go down there.
Okay.
Yeah, once we're finished, yeah.
So, let's see.
We're kind of waiting for decryption of the computers to check the logs at this point,
Well,
I think.
Have I been informed of the murder?
Yeah, we
no.
didn't know how.
I was heading that way.
All right. Well, let's say you arrive.
I am immediately going to grab Commander Vaughn and kind of guide him over to the side.
Her.
Or her, yeah.
Okay, I've been both. It's fine.
Commander, I was doing an autopsy on the captain, and while it is true there was some damage from what looked like possibly bulkheads falling, there was very clear signs of a strangulation, and the death was by asphyxiation.
Interesting. So, are you saying they were wounded or hurt by the falling objects and then subsequently killed?
It's either that or they were killed and then immediately the objects were on top of them. They would have had to have been alive or near alive at the time of that injury. So it's entirely possible that they were killed immediately afterwards or immediately before.
Well, I think if we find our murderer, we will find our spy or saboteur as well.
Well, you do have a number of NPCs who have been named. We've got Lieutenant Telek, the Vulcan science officer, who's over in the computer bay. There's Lieutenant Dallin, the Trill, that's in the navigation officer, really. You've got the person who was actually at the con. You've got Lieutenant Naval, the male Vulcan, who was doing warp core safety stuff. You've got Lieutenant Savrik, the female Andorian, who was assisting with the hull plating. The warp core itself isn't quite fixed yet, but there's a Lieutenant Morrow, a Tellarite, who's working on that.
So, I think we need to ascertain what path the captain took. Presumably they were on the bridge during the attack, but we need to find out where they were. Yeah, we need to find out where they were during the attack and trace them through to sickbay until they died. And find out when, at some point, someone lost track of the captain. That would narrow down our list of suspects.
All right, so who do you want to ask about the captain's whereabouts?
Well, I'm delegating this to Dr. Hobnall because I'm again staying in the engineering.
I just love that name, Dr. Hobnall.
Dr. Hobnall.
Well, I guess I can summon people to
absolutely.
Okay, cool. Then, along with the doctor, since you're the one who knows the information, I think we should start with Cottrell, the doctor, since they would be the one who would have admitted them.
Okay. So, Dr. Hobnall, would you like to go ask Dr. Cottrell where the captain was found? Sorry.
Absolutely.
All right, so you head off back to sickbay, and Lieutenant Commander Cottrell says, "Oh, the captain? She was found outside of her quarters."
Interesting. Outside of her quarters. And that was immediately after the attack?
I don't have an exact time frame as to when the security team found her, but it was very shortly after the attack, yes.
You're the medical officer here, and you didn't have a time frame on when a deceased patient was found?
No, there's an emergency, and there were 20 deceased patients, as well as, which included some of my medics.
Did you look the captain over?
We gave a preliminary scan and sent her to the morgue. We're going to be doing autopsies after the various life-threatening injuries are settled, and also when we can actually record further logs, because there's very little point of doing an autopsy if we're not going to be able to actually store it. Why? Do you have something to report?
Well, I found something a little peculiar, but I don't really know for sure at this point. I'm just making sure that we have all of the information. Was there anybody around the captain, or should have been around the captain at the time of their death?
She was found in a corridor, so I suppose anyone who could have been going to or from their quarters could have been around, which would have been largely anyone not on duty.
That could narrow it.
Interesting.
A little.
While Hobnall is doing that, since now I'm in charge of a murder investigation, I'm going to communicate to Commander Lewis and ask for a duty roster.
All right. She sends it over.
Duty.
Yeah. She sends it over, and she was on shift, as was Dallin, the navigation officer, as well as the pilot, the ensign, whose name I can't remember.
So Dallin, is that the new ensign?
No, that is the Trill that you met. The new ensign is a human female. I don't remember her name, but she was on duty on the bridge at that time.
I don't trust her.
Let's see.
You don't trust anyone that doesn't narrow it down.
Yeah, but I specifically don't trust her.
I extra don't trust that one. So she was on the bridge. Dallin was on duty, but in the navigation bay, which you could check if he was actually physically there, if the computers were on. Let's see. Lieutenant Naval was on duty. Lieutenant Savrik, the female Andorian, was not, nor was Lieutenant Morrow, the Tellarite.
All right, so...
Nor was Lieutenant Telek, the Vulcan science officer who's over in the computer bay, which, by the way, let's go check over and see what's going on there.
I got Savrak, Telek, and who was the third one that wasn't on duty?
Morrow.
That's the Tellarite, right?
Yes.
Well, whoever did it is a lieutenant.
You've narrowed it down a little bit.
It was the two-armed man.
So it was the lieutenant in the corridor to the captain's quarter with the garden shears.
Why is does this not give me a whole lot of help with figuring out how to restore the computer? Give me a second, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Actually, you know what? This will be a great opportunity for us to take a quick break while I read some stuff, and maybe people can grab more drinks or use the bathroom or something. So
Yes, I
Cheshire
need to
Seafood.
take a Riley.
Yes.
But please don't take a bottle.
Alright, thanks everyone. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back after these non-existent messages. Enjoy the tour of the ship. And we are back. Welcome back, everyone.
All right, welcome back, everybody. So I have
back.
double checked. Also, I noticed like 3 of the people here or something are drinking like drinking Kraken black rum. So I got myself a dark and stormy with some Kraken black rum too.
Oh,
So
beautiful.
that way we're
Do you make it
team.
with ginger beer or ginger ale?
Ginger beer. I'm not
Good
Chesh.
boy.
You
I
didn't
did
make
pick
a
out
Laura
Chad
Palmer?
last time. No, I didn't make a
don't
Laura
have any
Palmer.
Kraken black rum, but I do have ginger beer and rum, so
Ooh.
don't tempt me.
I mean, you do what you want. It's all up to you. All right, so we are back. Thank you very much. Do remember, by the way, there's 42 people watching. Thank you very much. And exactly half of you have hit like. So, if you're in the half that haven't, please do hit like. And do remember, if you decide to join the channel or super chat, this is stuff that's going to offset the cost of actually planning and running the game, which includes things like silly
Remember, Dapper,
uniforms, dozens
you've
of
also
books.
got you've got the Daniel Pratt authorization for people that don't hit the like button.
It's true, yeah. If you don't hit like, I will send Daniel Pratt to your house with his surgically attached water heater. So,
yeah, they
It's
tried
big.
to remove it, but the doctors passed out.
Well, also, I think at this point, it's actually become an intrinsic part of his circulatory system, and removing it would just straight up kill him.
Yeah.
So,
Don't give me ideas.
all right. So, we're going to go head back to the computer, and this is going to take quite a bit of work to decrypt. But let's take as our first step towards decrypting it, which, by the way, is probably going to take another 4 or so in-game hours, not out-of-game hours.
I hope so.
Let's get a reason and science check, or engineering, whichever one is better for you. And that
do the same for me.
Okay, well then just pick one.
Reason
And if you have any
engineering.
computers or anything like that, focuses, let me know.
Yeah, I have computer BIOS system stuff. I
Alright,
have
that'll
that as
count.
a focus.
And for $5, some weirdo named Zerolon says, "So happy to be a part of this. Like and share, friends." Thank you very much, Zerolon.
Ugh, could you imagine
Really?
having a name like
What?
Zerolon? Fuck's sake.
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's like an intentional misspelling of a Magic the Gathering card. Ew.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
That's so weird.
Reason and engineering,
What a
I have
nerd.
14,
Fucking nerd.
and I have a data recovery focus, so...
What's your total there, Broken Chip?
My total in reason and engineering is 15.
All right, so you should probably
So I'll
be
just-
on the lead, but you should also roll an assist die, and you can get your focus on it.
Yes.
And John Hopkins gifted 5 top hats off memberships. Thank you so much, John Hopkins. I really do appreciate
Noise.
that.
I
All
did
right.
not roll well, but
I
Doesn't
rolled.
matter because
Well.
Jillian McDaniel rolled better than you did on her 1 die, which means we get 2 points of momentum. And so
Oh,
you
and
have...
I also rolled insight instead of reason, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
My
well,
reason is actually better, but
rolled-
with a 2 it doesn't matter.
yeah, you rolled below your discipline, so no matter what, you would have succeeded and gotten the 2. All right, so we should have momentum up to 4 now, I believe, and this has created a little bit of a breakthrough. And let's see, McDaniel, could you give me a insight and let me double check here with a character sheet to see what's actually the most appropriate. Give me an insight and security check.
That's the one thing I'm really not good at.
Oh, that sucks.
1
you
success?
got 1.
Yeah, that's not going to help. Chip, you can give me the same if you want.
Insight and security. Okay.
Ask if your empathy focus helps.
It does, actually.
Yeah. Okay. I forgot to take my focus off, so there you go.
All right, well, that's still 1 point of momentum. And you notice that when you
Yes.
make a little bit of a breakthrough in decrypting the computer system, that Lieutenant Telek has a brief flash of what seems like excitement.
Ooh, a Vulcan
Romulan,
showing
I
excitement. No,
told you
yeah, no,
so.
the Trill. Sorry, aren't they?
No.
Is
Lieutenant Telek is indeed a Vulcan.
Telek is the Vulcan, yeah. I told
Ah,
you
Team
so.
Owen-
Romulan.
Yes.
Also, welcome Team ONB Formula One Dog Racing to the channel memberships as an ensign. So welcome
Wait,
Ensign
sorry.
Team ONB Formula One Dog
Formula
Racing.
One dog racing.
Yes. That's when you get a dog and you put him in a Formula One race car and you have the dogs race the cars.
So you don't
I
just
would
like
watch that.
attach a Formula One engine to a dog.
No, because they don't have wheels.
That would make
Yeah.
it more fun.
Just
But
moves their
If my
legs.
grandma had wheels, she would have been a bike.
Like, frankly, I think racing in general is boring, and my way of fixing it is just remove the humans, make them robot cars, add weapons.
I bet on races once. It was a horse race. My horse won and then was disqualified while I was on my way to collect my winnings.
No,
Yeah.
every time I bet on a horse on the Grand National, they've died. So
Ooh.
I've stopped betting on horses because I thought I was murdering
See,
them.
that is your mistake. You should bet on the horse in one place and bet on the horse dying at another place.
All right, so
You
we're
would
gonna
be
head.
rich.
We're gonna pop back though to Commander Va, who is now working on a murder investigation.
Yes, I am. So I'd like to talk to Commander Lewis.
Okay. Would you like to go see her? Would you like to call her down there? Would you like to just on the comms?
Call her down to me.
All right. So she arrives and says, Commander Va, what can I do for you?
And I'm going to put us in a private area. Obviously, I'm not going to discuss a murder investigation in front of the Romulans.
Wait, who's watching the Romulans?
We
Probably
have a
you.
security team.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay.
you didn't say that you had a security team. You said you had a medical team and an engineering team.
And a couple security people is what I said.
Oh, okay, I guess you did do that. Yeah, and I didn't call. All right, fine. You have a couple security guys.
Yeah.
Bob and Dave, specifically.
Yeah.
And Bob Dave.
anyways.
It's very confusing.
Commander, I have some troubling news.
Oh?
The captain was not killed by the Romulans, or at least not directly.
Well, I mean, she was probably injured in the damage, right? I guess that's an indirect killing by the Romulans. We knew that.
She was strangled to death.
That is not how disruptor beams work.
However, the doctor performed an autopsy and is confident in their conclusions. And so I believe if we find the murderer, we'll find our saboteur.
That does make sense, I suppose. I guess it's not impossible that it could be two separate people, but that does seem very unlikely. Wait, hold on. We've established that it was sabotage for sure? Or is that still our supposition? That's what I'm looking for. Words.
It's a working hypothesis, but if we have the captain being murdered and the navigation system malfunctioning...
It is very logical.
Right. So it seems to me that those who were off duty are the most likely to have committed the crime, since they would have not been required to be somewhere else. So can you tell me what you know about Lieutenant Telek?
He's our geologist. He's been on the ship for a couple years. I think he joined Starfleet 5, 6, something like that years ago. I'm not actually sure. I've read his personnel file, but it was a while ago. Let's see. Is there anything in particular you want to know about him?
How well do you know him? Has he been found with interests that are unusual, been found in places he wasn't supposed to be?
I don't recall any incidents with security. He really likes to lick rocks, though. But I think that comes with the whole geology thing.
Yeah, I don't think
he
that's a
licks a
Romulan
lot.
spy trait.
He licks a lot of rocks.
Do Romulans lick rocks?
I guess Romulan geologists probably would.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think they just normally do that. Maybe they lick salt rocks.
How about Lieutenant Dallin? I understand they were on duty in navigation. Is there anyone else around, or is that a solo posting?
It's generally a
Trill,
solo
right?
posting. I suppose it's possible that it is the Trill. I suppose it's possible that Lieutenant Dallin was down there and certainly would have had the opportunity to sabotage something. And we don't have an alert or anything, so it's possible that he could have left his post and strangled the captain after sabotaging something. It would be a tight timeline though, because she was also injured in the attack, so he would have had to get to her right after she enabled the Romulan protocol, which was only a few minutes after the attack began. That was her top priority, was enabling the Romulan protocol. So it's not impossible.
I think Lieutenant Telek is our prime suspect at the moment.
Okay. Oh, I do remember, I think his great-grandfather was Romulan? But, that's not exactly unique among Vulcans.
Yeah, and that doesn't tell us very much about their motivations.
Yeah. But, I don't know, it's just something I remember from his, because it's not unique among among Vulcans, but it's It's noteworthy. I made a note of it when I found that out.
Very well. I'll go over the other names that I have, Savrak and Morrow, in case she has anything of interest with them, like anything springs to mind. But
Savrak was, I mean, Lieutenant Savrak is fairly recent transfer. She doesn't remember anything particularly notable about her. She likes to spend time doing combat sparring in the holodeck with a ice pick, which is weird, but maybe that's just a Andorian thing. And then who was the other? Oh, Morrow. Morrow doesn't get along all that well with most of the crew, but then again, she's a Tellarite, so that's not too unusual.
Yes, they can be somewhat abrasive.
Interestingly, she gets along somewhat well with some of the Vulcans because they don't tend to get angry at her when she fights back. Instead, they just give logical counterpoints to her arguments, which she finds enjoyable and stimulating, even if she thinks they're boring to fight with.
Terrorists love arguing. It's what they do for fun.
It's true.
Well, thank you for your insight, Commander. I'll keep you informed.
Okay.
Terrorists don't actually get drunk; they just get louder.
It's true. All right. So, is anyone working on the warp core?
Not right now, I think.
I'm not.
Okay. So, Lieutenant Morrow has been working on it, and she is making some significant progress. She's probably about halfway done with the repairs at this point.
Sorry, who did we figure out was the prime suspect? Is it the Trill?
Telek,
the
Vulcan.
The Vulcan,
Yeah,
right.
the Trill could possibly have done it, but Telek seems to be the one with the be the most obvious pick.
Could we maybe set up a an interrogation with the prime suspect? You and I talking to them.
So, my plan, tentative. Well, I want to. We can war game how to do it once we can get all the crew together.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, would you like to call everyone together?
Oh, I thought they were still done at doing the computer room thing.
I mean, they are, but that's going to take them at least another few hours.
Okay. Yeah. Then I'll bring the crew together for a powwow.
Okay. All right. So is that going to be engineering?
Yeah, engineering or whatever side room I've been doing my super.
Yeah.
Stuff.
It's probably like the chief engineer's office or something.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So we'll make sure everyone's up to speed on the murder and all the various stuff. And I'll explain the reasons that I have for suspecting Lieutenant Telek. And since I know Telek was down there, I'll ask Chip. You interacted with Lieutenant Telek. Did you get a sense for their motivations?
They seem to really want the computer decrypted. And they got excited when I made progress.
I'm thinking that our best bet might be to catch them in the act. If they want to get at this decrypted data, perhaps we somehow set a trap where we either have the decrypted data or make them believe we have the decrypted data that they're not allowed to have access to, and then catch them when they access it.
I do not know much about Vulcans, but do they express emotions so readily?
No.
Usually?
That's suspicious, at least.
Well, Vulcans feel emotions perhaps more deeply than humans, but are well trained at concealing it.
I noticed many emotions on this one.
Interesting.
Did you?
Well, I noticed they were annoyed when we came in, and then I noticed that they got excited.
I don't know if annoyed is the right word, but yeah, okay, fair enough.
Irritated, definitely, but
They're-
Vulcans
they're-
are always
Isn't
irritated.
many.
To be fair, though, the average Vulcan seems to be kind of slightly irritated almost 24/7.
Yeah,
Especially
that's
around
definitely the vibe
humans.
I get. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just make sure I explain what I mean by that. So
Okay.
there you go.
But I'll
But he
ask
was
the
suspicious.
rest of my crew if they have a better idea on how to get to the bottom of this. Suggestions.
Considering that the spy probably wants to access the data even if it's not Telek, then planting a data bomb might still flush out the real spy even if he isn't the one. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
All right,
I think closely watching the suspect whilst we decrypt the data would certainly give us clues as to his motivations.
All right, then. Chip, McDaniel, I'll be relying on you to coordinate and figure out what this data bomb should look, or this data plant should look like. Lieutenant Tack,
Sir.
perhaps you should accompany our engineers to the computer core to keep an eye on Telek.
Yes, sir. I will make my presence very known to Telek.
That would be the opposite. We're trying to investigate and not let them know that they're suspicious. Just
Oh, no. I will just make him very aware that I am in the room.
okay. Just listen
I
to
want to-
Lieutenant McDaniel.
I will, sir.
All right, so you three head off to the computer core, and Telek is still trying to decrypt things, and he looks up when you come in, and raises an eyebrow, and says, "Oh, I'm unfamiliar with your companion," he says, looking at Tack.
I am Lieutenant 7 of 12, Tactical Node 3, Species 5008.
You heard
That
it.
should, that should be
And-
sufficient.
I assume you're from the U.S.S. Kongzi?
You
Yes.
assume correctly,
See.
Vulcan.
Thank you, Klingon.
Please, do not let us disturb your work.
I
Very
float
well.
over to the machine.
He starts. Hey, Tech, give me a insight and security check. Difficulty 2.
Okay, I'm going to use a momentum.
Okay.
That's
All right. Well, you noticed absolutely nothing. And in fact, you know what though? I will let Broken Ship roll an assist on this one.
okay. That's an additional one.
Hey, there you go. Chip
Noise.
manages to motion to you to pay attention to Lieutenant Telek, who seems to have stopped with attempting to decrypt things and is now starting to simply download files that are encrypted onto a pad.
How does Broken Chip do that? Broken Chip can't just
Using
be
his
like,
little
hey,
antenna.
he's got like a little
He's got his
Uber.
antenna,
I
yeah.
need to know
He's got a little
how.
antenna.
Chip and I
I
are friends. I know his tells, right?
I can do
listen,
Yeah.
you need to let Chip answer
I
this
can-
question.
I can do this. I can do this.
You
So
guys-
I have set up with him, in case there's an emergency situation, a series of beeps that I make. So I'm just floating over, and then I go, boop, 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 boop. And then
Prixie Burning Purple asks, why is FTFE's character always racist?
I don't
That's
know.
a good
Tyrion was
question.
racist last time.
Klingons are kind of racist against everyone, to be fair. They're not
Especially
Klingon.
Romulans.
Yeah, especially Romulans, though. I'm
Yeah,
just
they do
playing the
not.
role, man. Okay, so I walk over to the lieutenant and just stand very close to him as he's doing this stuff with his pad, and just pay attention.
He looks up and says, is there something I can help you with?
She grabs him by the shoulders. Why did you kill the captain?
Yeah, I just pick him up by the leg and like dangle him. No, I just look at his pad and go, is it necessary to use that piece of equipment at this point in time?
I believe so, yes.
Could you please explain what you were doing?
I'm attempting to assist with the decryption.
How, specifically, are you assisting with the decryption by downloading encrypted files onto the pad?
He starts running towards the door.
My phase is on stun. I just shoot him in the back.
All right, give me a control and security check.
Damn, Val, that was a really great plan you had to catch them in the end.
That
Okay,
accelerated quickly.
I'm going to use my handheld energy
Working
weapon
perfectly.
focus, and I'm going to use I'm going to use enough to get 4 die.
Okay, so that's 3. Jeez, okay, yeah, that's... You have restored 2 of those. Unless you want to use them for extra damage.
No, I'm only trying to stun the guy.
Well, the extra damage will still help with that, too.
Yeah.
Okay,
you
then.
don't-
Yeah, go on.
Yeah,
then.
your
Will
phasers-
need to do
right,
stress.
Yeah, Yeah, it's set
So
to
yeah,
stun,
roll
so you're stressed.
roll your damage.
Let's do my Type 2 phaser.
Basically, what stun means is it's definitely not going to kill him. All right,
Yeah.
so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which means he takes an injury, except that I am going to spend a couple threats to prevent him from taking that injury. But he is now definitely not doing okay, but he does manage to not go down. Is
How much
anyone...
threat did you use?
2.
I
So he's going to run through the door, but that means it is now time if anyone else in the room wants to take a combat action.
I just want to put my arm out and basically just have him run into me
Clothesline him.
when he tries to get out of the room. Yeah, kinda.
All right. So I'll allow that. Give me a
Can I use my pickleball experience for that? Probably not.
no. But
So
I am
daring
gonna
plus
spend,
security.
I'm going to spend 3 threat, and
Okay.
so this is going to be daring security, and he's going to roll it too.
Yeah, he's gonna try to fight you.
Okay, then I'm gonna spend 1 momentum and hope this works.
Okay.
I've,
Unfortunately, no. He wins that, and he does. Let's see. He causes 1 point of stress damage to you as he shoves you aside and runs through the keeps running, but he hasn't made it to the door yet because broken ship can still go.
question.
Yeah.
Did the radiation damage go away once we entered
No.
the ship again, or is it still?
So the stress that you took stayed, but you're not continuing to take further damage from it.
Okay, so I'm at 2, but that's still pretty.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
All right, broken ship.
Chip, you can shoot him. Go on.
You're like beginning of the semester stressed. You're not like
Yeah.
mid-term level stressed.
Yes,
Okay,
we are
so
still very far from the finals.
I'll try to hit him with my phaser.
Okay. That's control and security. Go for it. You have 3
Total of
momentum.
9.
Yep.
How many momentum? Sorry.
You got 3 momentum. It's difficulty 2.
Just use them. Just use them to do it.
All right.
Give him an extra
Alright.
threat if you need to.
Yes.
I'm up to 4 without using it, so I'll do that.
So wait,
I got
how much momentum are
1.
you using?
Oh,
3.
that hurts.
All right.
Chip.
So you
Chip just spontaneously
I'm
combusted and shot himself in confusion.
So here's what happens. You try to manifest a Type 1 phaser, but in your haste, you overestimate how much power to put into it, and instead, it overloads and feeds back into your system, causing
Ooh.
1 stress of damage to you.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, so it is now the top of another turn. He is about to go through the door, but 1 person can take a turn before he goes.
Can I?
I guess
correct
it's
you again?
Tech should do that because he's the best at fighting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I'm just going to try and shoot him again, and
Fair.
Yeah.
Broken
You were
Chip
down
is
to
currently doing the R2D2 on fire noise.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to give you a threat to get an extra die. I'm going to use my handheld energy weapons. I take a minor action to aim.
That will allow you to re-roll a d20.
Oh my god, Jordan, I'm so proud of them. They're learning.
Good.
I don't recommend taking a re-roll because you just got 2 momentum, which could be used for damage.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
roll that
use it.
damage.
Type 2 phaser.
The sharpshooter talent is actually really good because in addition
Oh,
to
Jesus.
re-rolling 1 of your die, you also reduce the difficulty by 1.
Wait, I just
That's
evaporated
not
him.
damage.
Whoops.
He face plants and just sprawls out on the floor, completely unconscious.
Okay,
stick on him.
I turn to the commander and say, I think we found the saboteur, sir.
Which I'm not there.
Oh, you're not there. Okay,
You
I
got-
tap.
that's a
communicated to me.
quick.
Yeah, I tap my communicator. Commander,
I
I
don't even know
think
which
we
side
found the
it's-
saboteur. He's currently face down in the carpets of this lovely starship.
Because in the 90s, starships have a carpet.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, also,
what I was-
broken chips
Yeah,
on
go
fire.
I attempt to
Only
get
smoking.
rid of the thing that I was trying to create
Yeah, no, it's fine. You're fine at this point. You're not in any continual danger.
Okay, so then I go over to the data pad and I'm gonna see if it's transmitting anywhere.
Not currently, no.
Okay.
Lieutenant Tack, you could scan our downed Vulcan friend. You do have your
Yes,
crazy eye guy.
Yeah, I'm going to use my character can scan the environment like a tricorder. So I'm just going to. What do you want me to roll for
All right,
that?
give me a reason and medicine check, difficulty 1. Okay. That was a really bad roll.
That was.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so now that I've gotten the report, I'll again go to a private area, and I'll direct Lieutenant Tack, please bring the suspect to a secure area. I assume this ship has a brig.
Yep.
Yeah.
I re-stomp the groin and then lift up the left leg of the Romulan and drag him to where you have
Well,
commanded.
we don't know that he's a Romulan.
Well,
So,
okay, Vulcan.
but
So
you do that.
That was important.
Once you've done that, I want you to take McDaniel and Chip to Lieutenant Telek's room to do a thorough search of their quarters.
Okay.
And then I'll beep over to Dr. Hobnall and ask them to meet me in the brig.
Okay.
Aye, heading that way.
All right, so the first thing, we're going to switch scenes, which means we reduce momentum by 1, but I don't think it matters.
Fair enough.
So, at the room...
is threat changing at all?
No.
Okay.
No.
In Telek's room, there's a bunch of Vulcan stuff. There's meditation candles, Vulcan texts.
It looks it's so Vulcan, you guys. It's got so much Vulcan in it. It's very Vulcan.
It is very Vulcan. It's true. So nothing immediately is catching your eye. So you'll start searching around there, and we'll switch over to the brig, where Lieutenant Telek is starting to wake up a little bit.
Am I there at the brig with them?
You're in the quarters doing the search.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Doctor, could you tell me if this individual is in fact a Vulcan?
Give me a difficulty 2 insight and medicine check.
You can have a threat.
Okay. Currently, no, you cannot. And he is awake and looks around and says, "What? I've been attacked."
Yes, you were attacked fleeing a crime scene. Your second one on this ship, I believe.
I do not understand, Commander.
Do you want to tell me what you were doing with the data pad?
I was downloading my files.
You were downloading your files, and is there a reason you chose to run from the computer core once you were found doing that?
Your security officer seemed to be threatening me.
I see. And I suppose there's no reason why these computer files, like the computer files you were looking for, had to do with navigation data?
No, they were my geology files.
And so when we decrypt these files, they'll all be geology files?
Of course.
I think you're lying.
Vulcans do not lie.
They always say that, and then they lie all the time.
Where were you before the attack happened?
In my quarters.
Is there anyone who can verify that?
I suppose not.
Are you aware that the captain is dead?
Yes.
Do you know how the captain died?
I was under the impression that she was damaged by falling debris during the Romulan attack.
Damaged, yes, but that was not fatal. In fact, our doctor has confirmed not only that happened, but that happened, it was not the cause of death.
That is extremely concerning.
It is. The doctor has actually learned the actual cause of death, how the captain was killed, and based on their examination, is able to tie the murderer to the wound pattern.
That is generally how forensics examinations of murder victims work, yes.
So can you tell me why your biometrics were found at the scene?
I suggested they were probably not found at the scene. That sounds like something like some kind of bluff, I believe is the word.
I'm going to put my hand on the dagger that I keep at my belt and say, I'm currently trying to prevent a war, and I'm not in the mood to bandy words with a spy and a traitor. So would you like to revise your statement? And I'm attempting to intimidate.
Okay, so give me a presence and security check with your focus associated with it. And that will be opposed by my insight and security, and I'm going to spend 3 threat to get some extra dice.
Well, I will give you one of those threat back to get an extra die, and
Fair.
I will I'll invoke my Starcross. So once per mission, that doubles my range, so I will now get a crit on a 10 or less. And I will also use my point of determination to invoke...
Okay.
I'm going to invoke a value. I have a value. Decisive action saves lives. Hesitation cost them.
Absolutely. That sounds great.
Awesome.
All right,
Pull
so
out
I
all
have
the
2
stops on this
successes.
roll.
Oh yeah. I take all my resources and use them at one time.
Yes.
I have one value that I
It's an important role.
I have one value that I cannot wait to question because it's going to be hilarious when I get to do it.
Okay.
All right, so let's do this
All right.
roll.
All right, that is definitely a success, and you get 2 momentum.
It would have been hilarious if after all that it was just like
that's
3
that's
complications.
6 successes.
Oh yeah, so you get 4 momentum. Sorry.
And you're welcome, Admiral Snappy Turtle.
All right. So what was the exact statement or thing you wanted to get from?
So I subtly threatened them with my Klingon dagger and asked them if they wanted to revise their statement lying to me about the murder.
I do want to revise my statement. He shouts, "For Romulus!" and then collapses on the ground.
Oh,
And starts
yeah.
foaming at the mouth.
Immediately scanning this guy. What weird poison did he just take? Can I counteract it?
Well, so let's see. Your scan is going to be a control and medicine difficulty 3 check. You have 4 momentum.
Yeah, spend one of those.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, he's just gonna die. I don't care.
So yeah, he stops twitching on the ground, but then his skin starts turning a sickly greenish black, and he starts kind of melting.
That's not normal.
No, now there's a greenish black puddle of presumably Romulan, but maybe Vulcan guts all over the place.
That's odd. That's very bizarre.
Now that this person is disintegrated, can we get like actual data to show that this person is for realsies a Romulan? Even though it's clear they're a Romulan. I'd like to have evidence.
The problem is that
do we
this
have a
person
nice high
dissolved
definition?
into a puddle of like semi-organic sludge.
Okay, fair enough.
Do we have a nice high definition video of them going for Romulus or something?
I mean, you would if any of the cameras were recording, but they're not because the computer's down.
It's fine. We have my word and Dr. Hobnoll's word.
Yep.
Which the Romulans will absolutely believe.
Yes. Are you
It doesn't matter if
telling
they
me-
believe it. It matters if the Federation will believe it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hit the communicator and call the captain. Captain, Commander Va.
Go ahead, Commander.
We found the root cause of our malfunction. It was a Romulan saboteur.
Not terribly surprising.
They are currently a puddle of goo, not my doing, or tax.
Yeah, that's to specify. It
Surprising,
wasn't tacked into it.
Surprising and unfortunate, but I guess the surprise is in a better way than not.
So how would you like us to proceed, Captain?
Well, can you give me a little bit more of the details?
So I'll inform the captain of everything I know.
Do you have
with
the
the data
tablet?
pad? So we have a tablet that has contraband information on it that they were trying to steal. We have both of us witnessed this person yell for Romulus and commit suicide. And they were off duty at the time and were not able to explain their time before they got to the captain.
They had no alibi.
Yeah.
Very well.
I kind of think we should be putting the current Romulans on the ship under guard at this point.
Well, hold on. I'm asking the captain first.
Yeah.
Well, while you're having this conversation, something comes in over the intercom of the captain's room and says, "Captain, the Romulan warbird is hailing us."
Oh, perfect timing.
Mm-hmm.
Continue with what you're doing. Try to not be too suspicious. I'll handle things on my end.
Understood, Captain.
So I'm assuming you're in your ready room.
Yeah, I go to the ready room and on screen
yeah.
the Romulans.
Yeah, you can take the call in the ready room. That works. There's Commander Maven, who says, "Captain,
Commander?
how are the repairs going on the Nightingale?"
From my understanding, the repairs are going right on track and right on time.
That's good to hear. Ours are also going apace, and our warp core is back online.
Perfect. Have you had any issues on your end from your away team?
No, they seem to report that they are being well treated.
Good. As instructed by my crew.
I have been in contact with the Romulan High Command, and they have informed me that they would be willing, on the condition that the Federation issue a formal apology, to accept the explanation that there was in fact a navigational error and allow the crew of the Nightingale to return to the Federation. But I would expect that the various diplomatic channels involved between our two polities to request some kind of recompense from the Federation for this flagrant violation of the treaty, even if it was accidental.
Yeah, there is some issues, it seems. I have gotten word from my ship that there seems to have been some interference with the navigation system.
That's most unfortunate.
Yeah, and it is most unfortunate that the person who seemed to be responsible for it was a Romulan.
I was not aware of any Romulans on the ship.
Yeah, neither were they.
I suppose not. Might have been a rogue agent trying to, in an unauthorized manner, in their own misguided way, attempt to bolster the position of the Romulan Empire in interstellar politics. I wouldn't know anything about it, of course.
No, of course not. But under those conditions and the circumstances, as we do not, both of us, want any war between our peoples, and we would like to
Certainly not.
maintain our peaceful talks, it seems that no apology will be ordered or issued, that the ship will be returned, its crew will be returned, and there'll be no issue.
Well, I suppose we should let the matter of apologies be something that the diplomats deal with, which I assume neither of us are.
Yes, I think they can discuss this incident amongst themselves.
Well, Captain, it has been an absolute pleasure meeting you, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. We're going to be headed back into Romulan territory, but we will be monitoring you from there. I suggest that you do not dawdle in the neutral zone, or our magnanimity may be rescinded.
Oh, naturally.
word.
We will ensure to be out of your space and out of the neutral zone as quickly as we possibly can. I assume that there will be no further complications or interference.
Not from my end.
Good to hear. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, Captain.
So was Lieutenant Telek a common and simple tailor?
Or a common and simple geologist, maybe.
You win word of the day, Dapper, by the way.
For magnanimity.
Yes,
That's
wonderful
good.
word.
Good word.
That's a good one. I like that.
Romulans are pretentious. What can I say?
I know.
Romulus gonna Romulan.
All right, so it does not take a whole lot longer for the warp core to be repaired. The computer is not completely fixed by that time, but
Can do that later.
Commander, what's her face? Whose name? Sorry.
Especially since we are keeping the ship, the computer doesn't
Lewis?
have priority anymore.
Yeah, Commander Lewis says, I would rather get out of here as soon as possible than wait around for the computer. The computer can be fixed on the other side of the neutral zone.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much, Commander Va. Thank you, everyone. And also, she contacts Captain Tenelia to thank her personally. And asks, will you match our course and speed when we're out of here, just as an escort out of the neutral zone?
Are you asking me or the captain?
The captain, or generally that's a request from Commander Lewis.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, well, you guys warp out of the neutral zone. You have... Well, I mean, there was someone who said he was doing something for... Well, no, the Nightingale can't do that. You would be at conventional warp. Plus, actually, at this point, the quantum slipstream drive would have charged back up. But yeah, so you have, in fact, ensured there was no war. You saved basically all the crew, and no Federation technology fell into the hands of the Romulans, which means we are
And we
good.
have a bucket of goo.
Yeah, well, you do have a bucket of goo if you collected that.
We didn't cause a war or die or something.
We did
Yeah,
the whole
no,
thing,
yeah.
and
Though, I mean, we have to think about the really bad things here. They're gonna have to replace that whole carpet now.
I also managed to do this entire thing without ever setting my crew to red alert.
That's true. All right, well, thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate all the support. We've had
That was a good episode.
Good time.
Awesome.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit like because it really does help. If you have any Star Trek nerds out there or some TTRPG nerds that you think might like this show, send it to them.
Yes.
Or if you just have people who are fans of any of the YouTubers who are here that maybe don't know about the show, send it to those people too. So we will, the plan right now is we will play again next week. I don't remember exactly what the episode is, but you know what? I'm going to find out what the title is. So give me a second.
There will be a trailer.
Yes, that is the plan. The next episode is called Decision Point. So there you go.
Sounds important.
The plan is 5 p.m. Pacific. That's 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you're in one of those weird European time zone like Craig or Thierry here, I don't know, do some math.
You realize it's called Zulu time for a reason?
Is it because of all that slaughtering of the Zulus with machine guns?
Well,
Yes,
yeah, basically.
whatever happens,
Yeah.
we have not collected a gun, and they have not. Also, it's 1 a.m. GMT.
Oh, there you go, 1 a.m. GMT. All right, everybody, thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I'm going to be live again tomorrow on my main channel, so come for that. And we're going to get out of here. Bye, everybody. Chess, get us out of here.